Thank you so much for having me here. Delighted to be here. It's the first time I've ever spoken at this conference. And how I got invited is that Dr. Dorte and I used to be in a women's group in San Francisco together many years ago. So she found me, reached out to me, and invited me to participate. So that's how I got here. It has been so exciting for me to be part of the conversations that are happening because I'm a food blogger and an author, and I don't normally get to talk about the connection that food has to our whole body, to healing our body, to connecting us to other people, and to our spiritual part of our being. So it's just been fun to have the freedom to be able to talk about something like this in a community that's so open and so welcoming. So it's been really fun and exciting for me to participate. So before I get into the book, why don't I show you this? This is a molcajete. So in the Mexican tradition, they're usually made out of volcanic rock. This one's made out of wood and it's fancy and pretty. But I have at home my grandmother's. It's over 100 years old, and I use it all the time to grind spices and make salsas. So think about thousands of years ago when we didn't have blenders, but you still needed to smash up things, right? So that's what people use was a molcajete. So the reason why this is so important to me is because, like I said, it was my grandmother's. It's over 100 years old. I use it all the time. And my mother had it for many years, and so now it's mine. So when I use it, I automatically think of these women that I loved and meant so much to me because I'm using the same tool that they used to cook with, right? So I don't have that kind of attachment to anything else in my kitchen, even a knife, but the molcajete I feel very connected to. I recently released a new book, and it's called My Abuelita's Magical Molcajete, and it's about cooking ghosts. And it's a novel. It's magical realism, kind of like fantasy. And what the story is about is the main character, Maria, is grieving the death of her twin sister. She's a math professor in San Diego. And all of a sudden, her abuelita, her grandmother, and her grandmother's 8 sisters, her tias, they start visiting her in the middle of the night and they give her cooking lessons. And so they come once a month and they're really sassy and they smoke cigars and they drink tequila. And all of the women in the book are based on real women in my life that I grew up cooking with. So my mom is a ghost, Tia Rosa and Tia Hubi. So it was just so fun to write a book about women that I loved so much and see them and have conversations with them as an adult. Like, what wisdom would they pass down to me as an adult? So when I was thinking about writing it, and Maria, who's my main character, her life blossoms with their help. So that's what the story is about. And then at the end of every visit, after they teach her how to make a recipe, they leave her a recipe card. Because she's a math professor, she never learned how to cook. And she's like, you gotta leave me a card. So later this year, around the holiday season, I'm gonna be releasing a deck of recipe cards. Our recipes were all on cards before the digital age. So that's what I'm gonna be releasing. And this is just an example of the mole rojo recipe. Also, what people that read the book say is that it's giving them hope. It's really a message of hope and of connection. And people are starting to have parties where they're inviting friends over and they're all cooking together and they're talking. And that's really what I wanted, is that for people to feel that connection when we actually are in the kitchen. To me, that's really the heartbeat of our souls, is being in that kitchen, cooking together, sharing stories, maybe being like, oh, that's too much of this. But it's just that connection and that fun and that joy that we feel when we're together and we get to cook together and then we get to eat together. So this is a recipe card. So this is an example of one. And mole rojo. So every card is going to give you a little bit of the personality of the recipe. And so what Mole Rojo had to say about her, actually how she supported Maria in my story, is she comes in on the 4th visit. She says, I'm the most important recipe of all. While the other 31 recipes may not agree, especially those pink concha show-offs, trust me, I made the biggest life-changing contribution to Maria's life. So she has something to say. So every recipe has a little bit something to say and how they helped her along. And then on the back, it's all the ingredients and the directions.